Hello, everyone, and good morning, and welcome to our second webinar in this mini series pertaining to COVID and what's next for businesses. Today, we're really thankful to have our chamber members and friends, Ali and Chris from Infinity Marketing Solutions. They're going to be here today to talk to you about social media and a digital Mainstreet, and they've got some really good information for you today. So I'm excited for them to be able to share that with you, and thankful that they have taken the time to or donated their time to teach you a little bit today. We hope that you are doing well, and we're excited to have all of you here with us. We are recording today's webinar, so if you are unable to stay the whole time, or if you found it really helpful and have some other chamber member friends that you think might find it also helpful, we can send out the link post-event to them to watch after the fact. We want to give special thanks to our friends at Toyota. They are the ones that have sponsored our mini webinar series that's going to be going on for the month of February. Every Friday at 10 a.m. we'll have a different webinar pertaining to COVID-19 and how that's impacted businesses and what we're going to do next and to make 2020 or 2021, I guess it's a new year, a very successful year. So we are going to have a Q&A portion after Ali finishes her presentation. But what I'd like for you to do is submit those questions via the chat. The chat button is down at the bottom of your screen. You can send those just directly to me, or you can send them to the entire group, whichever you are most comfortable with. But just go ahead and send that, send those questions there, and then once the presentation is finished, we'll go through those. If at any point after the presentation you think of a question that you would like to get answered, you can email that to me at chamber@putnamcounty.org, and I will forward that over to them and get an answer back for you. Or you can feel free to contact them directly. They offer a wide variety of services that are really helpful for businesses. And so if you want to learn more about them, I encourage you to reach out to Chris and get connected. So without any more, I guess what we're going to do, Ali also went ahead and put in in the chat, if you'd like to download the presentation, there's a link there. So I guess if there's nothing else, I'll turn it over to you. And thank you guys for being here with us, and you just take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, folks. It's awesome to be here. This is my first time getting to meet you folks at the Putnam Chamber. So I'm very excited to see all of your faces when the presentation is over and they come back. I'm going to go ahead and start a screen share with you folks so we can kind of reference the same thing here. So bear with me just a moment. Let's see. Okay. So Putnam Chamber kind of asked us to come in and talk a little bit about social media. So I know you guys got a bio, but a little bit on me is I've been working with companies for about a decade with e-commerce. And more recently, I've gotten kind of in the past few years into social media, like probably many of you deep into trying to figure out the algorithms and how to make this actually work. So kind of through this experience and getting to work on social media, some on the political side this past year, which is an entirely new beast of its own. I learned a few things about social media that can really help and get you out of the trap of how much do I need to read for this to make sense, which I find there's a lot of folks have this kind of struggle. Because you'll get lost in, trying to say, okay, like what hashtags do I need? What time of day should I post? And all of this kind of little minutia just starts to blur and you feel like you're chasing your tail, and trying to figure out what works gets hard. So what we've done is actually kind of put together a concept, right? It's so much easier to take on anything if you've got a unified concept of what you're trying to do.
It's been telling me my internet connection's unstable, so I think it just doesn't want us both.
Oh no. Can you still hear us? You're okay out there? Thumbs up. Cool. Okay, so we put together this as kind of a concept for you folks to help get on the right track. So at Infinity, we've been talking a lot about digital Main Street. And that basically means like conceptualizing your online business as if it were a brick and mortar. So it's little things, right? It's um, your location, just like when you're trying to find a location for your awesome coffee shop or, whatever you're trying to do, that foot traffic is going to make a difference. Same thing applies to your website with Google. Same thing applies to your social media. So it's what I've got written down here is a way of thinking about your online presence as similar to that of a brick and mortar, one with community value and ties to other local businesses, which I find is the key part with social media. Trying to, like I said, trying to beat the game on social media is going to make it a lot harder than understanding what exactly the social media sites want from you. So it's going to open a lot of doors, not only for social media, but your digital marketing efforts. And it helps you grow your business in an efficient, sustainable way. So how it works is you kind of consider these factors, right? You've got your location. Are you easy to find? Your layouts, can your clients find what they're looking for? Like if they go on social media, how hard is it for them to find what they need to know? Communication, how do your clients and prospects engage with each other? And community, like how can building relationships with like the folks in here, you guys are already a step ahead because you're in here, building these kind of local business relationships and creating sustainability together. So kind of as I've said before, if you've ever tried to get this social media presence up and running, it really is easy to get caught in the tips and tricks. And I often hear from people like, is this even worth it? Like, how much time am I going to have to invest to figure this out? But the thing is, your clients are there. 4.14 billion users, unique users worldwide. This isn't bots. This is unique people. 14 new users per second. And people spend an average of 2.5 hours per day on social media. So all of these things kind of align into saying that like, it is worth it, but you're kind of worried more about your opportunity cost. Like how much are you wasting trying to figure this out? So we want to help with that. Basically, digital Main Street kind of comes in to help you, like I put it out here, to see the forest through the trees. What am I actually trying to do? And what efforts am I doing that are not helping at all? And which ones are more crucial that I should spend more time on? I love this quote: when you've mastered the numbers, you'll no longer be reading numbers more than you'll be reading words with books. You'll be reading meanings. And that's something I think even in the business world, in the tech world, it's so easy to kind of like get lost in these measures that you're just constantly trying to bump up that engagement rate or those number of likes or those number of comments. And that becomes the goal rather than what actually they provide you with. So today, what I kind of want to leave you folks with is knowing the components of strong branding and how that helps you tell your story. Be able to minimize your opportunity costs by focusing on the right tools and channels, how to set up your shop on digital Main Street of social media and why it works, and to be ready to start using the power of online community to cultivate a sustainable customer base that advocates for your brand as well as, is a client of yours. So the first step here is to define your voice, right? A lot of people will try to find like Canva or Adobe Spark or Photo or something like that, where they're like, okay, I can go in here, I can make some templates. And oftentimes, there might be someone at your company who you're like, oh, this person can do social media, but they haven't quite understood your values, your voice, and your vision, right? It doesn't have to be like you, the person on social media. It's the personality of your organization or your business. So kind of a really great place to start is just getting down on paper how you want to use your branding, what you're trying to do, like what is your vision and voice. And you've likely got all of these documents. And then kind of thinking about how do these things apply to your content? Like what kind of content do you want to put out there? Often it's educational, or often it's, getting people to share things with you because you're trying to boost those numbers. And coming up with kind of a content strategy, that's something that's a little bit difficult. So if you have any issues with that, like reach out to us. We have a really awesome worksheet that helps a heck of a lot. So that branding, that storytelling piece of it, once you've got that in place, you can kind of move on to the next step. This is the part for me that I think is really underutilized, which is really figuring out, once you've got what kind of content you want to put out there, realizing that not all content is created equal on all channels, right? If you want to put a lot of videos up, it's going to be harder for you on Twitter. Twitter doesn't prioritize those algorithms the same way. If you want to put up a lot of links just on your wall, a lot of people choose Facebook. And interestingly enough, those Facebook algorithms do not prioritize links. They prioritize native stuff, things that are shared inside groups. You might have even noticed that if you join a group, you're seeing everything from that group for the next few days. So being able to figure out which social media channels your content will do best on, and not using them all, it'll waste your time. Really picking the one where your content works the best is super important. So I did send you folks this link. It has a little blog post here about how to pick which social media channels that might work best for you. So feel free to give that a read. And the second thing is picking the right tools, right? There's Hootsuite, there's Sprout, there's Tweepsmap, there's a million things out there. So I did link to our blog here. It's got a good overview of the top 5 used in 2021. So if you need any help with those social management tools, give that a read. So, telling your story, understanding your content, picking your channels, and picking the tools that are going to help you get there. Looking at those analytics natively on Facebook, where you can see how many people in their reach, and it's not going to give you a clear overview. You need something that's going to give you a good bird's eye view, so that you're not wasting your time trying to figure out, why did this one work really well and not the other? It'll be able to tell you, oh, this is great content, but I also posted it at a really good time of day. These things will really help you out. So here's a quick little graphic that I made that actually kind of goes over the demographic spread too. This is something I've got links to in our blogs, but this is a really important part of picking those channels. Understanding where your audience is, right? So if only 21% of men use Twitter, only 15% of men use Pinterest. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. Like, you'll see, look at these monster numbers on Facebook and YouTube. This is why everyone chooses them. They're really big. But if you've got good niche content, if you've got good photography, these numbers are still worth your time on Instagram. They're still worth your time on Pinterest specifically. If your branding is geared more toward women, if you're in skincare or something like that, it can be really useful. And something that's not on here is also Reddit, which is a great platform if you're mostly text-based. So you got all your stuff picked out, and now it's time to set up shop and find your location. This is the most important phase of your social media development, and it seems so simple once I kind of lay this out, but it's something I didn't think of for a really long time. When you set up your social media channels, your account is a two-way street. So it's not only important who follows you, it's important who you follow, because that's going to set up what content comes up on your feed, what you're able to engage with, and where other than your feed. And just, hopefully your posts get onto somebody else's, where people are going to see you. So it ties you to these other local businesses. So when someone, is looking for any one of these amazing businesses in the Putnam County Chamber, that if you're following the rest of them, they're going to find us all. And this is where that community building really comes into place. When local businesses tie themselves together, even in such simple ways, people who are looking for them, they find our little digital Main Street. They find Putnam County's Main Street online when we're all tied together. So it's a really important thing to do to remember how you're tying your account to other people's accounts. So really simple, but go through and see if you can't find those people who are close to you physically, because Google does know who's close to you physically, and people that you have similar values and vision and content with. Because people who are already following you or someone like you, they're going to be more likely to engage with your content when they pop up related to each other. So this is something to keep in mind. Find your friends, follow them. And the last part is building community, becoming a good neighbor and grow sustainably. This is the biggest thing too, right? Now that you follow each other and you've got your little network going, you want to contribute to a culture of uplifting local businesses and kind of create that in the spaces where people follow you, so that it's not just us here lifting up each other and each other's businesses. It's showing that, we are all doing this and building brand advocates who mirror the way that we talk about our businesses. And that really helps you, right? That's that's customer-based sustainability, that's brand loyalty, that's cultivating new people coming in who are getting these genuine firsthand testimonials about why they like your business. Which, I mean, if you've ever worked with a marketer, generating a review strategy is so key. So this is going to help you not just on social, but it's going to help you on Google and every other place that you are. So like, why is this so important? Like I said in the beginning, a lot of times folks will start chasing their tails with the algorithms, and these foundational principles are really important. But a lot of times these tips and tricks on the internet are going to have you chasing down things, trying to like find loopholes to beat social media algorithms like they're a video game. And each site has different rules. And a lot of people, some people have a huge staff, right? And they can leverage these little loopholes to give them slight advantages. But if you're not somebody who posts like that, and if you don't have a whole team, you're going to watch doors close in front of you as they close these loopholes with algorithms. Because the algorithms are there to prevent you from getting an outsized gain without paying for it. Most of these platforms have pay to play. So instead of trying to trick them, you can use them as intended. They're there, like Facebook is there. The reason that you get these Facebook group posts all the time is because that's what Facebook wants. It wants small communities having engaged conversations around specific topics. That's what Facebook wants. So knowing what the social media platform actually wants from you will help you have a more sustainable social media presence instead of trying to reinvent the wheel or, chase closing loopholes. And the best thing is this is where old school community meets new school tools. When you do that digital Mainstreet approach and you conceptualize like who's close to you and you've gotten into this mindset, it's hard to not remember. Like for me, my favorite place to go get coffee is the Rocks around the corner because I love those people. Like they're so kind to me every time I come in. They know exactly what I'm getting. And a lot of times our favorite businesses are places where we know that we can trust the people to have our back, who share our interests. And on social media, you do have a great opportunity to create that community around your offerings and your brand. And that's where that voice and values comes into play. So it gives you a place to start engaging with people so that because, it's not as easy to go on with your mask on to these places and make these connections with people, sharing selfies of what you guys are doing, talking to people, you recognize someone who's a customer, have those conversations because it's not just that one person, it's everybody who's seeing that, like, this is a welcoming space that you're going to invite in. And like I said, start to build those advocates. And I know this does sound like kind of a long game, and it kind of is. So knowing where to start is the most important thing. So provide value. Know what your clients care about, know their pain points, and what they enjoy, and use that information to create relevant, engaging content. And the best way to do this, y'all, is ask. Look at your numbers, see what people are engaging with now. If you've got a good audience, ask people what they'd like to see more from you. Be genuine in that way. Engage and listen. So like I said, start asking questions, break your efforts into 3 buckets: sharing valuable content, promoting your service, and engaging with your audience. Of all the time you spend on social media, divide that in 3 parts: sharing valuable content and educating, promoting what you do, and a whole third of your time, spend that engaging with other people. It makes a huge difference. And the last thing that you can do is create spaces to have these conversations. So depending on what you choose, right, start a group on Facebook, start a thread on Twitter, chat in the DMs, like create more spaces for you to be able to engage, educate, promote, and learn. That's how you break that big echo chamber trap, right? Like you're posting all the time. It's the same 4 people liking your stuff. How do I get out of this circle? Create new spaces. Because the algorithms can make you start to feel like things are getting stale, even when they're not. It's just maybe you need to find a new place to chat. So that's something that we're even doing too. So kind of all these things together kind of our second piece of the title of this presentation, which is community over competition. So kind of going through this to reiterate what we've talked about is use strong branding, consistent imagery, and relevant content to tell your story. Don't spread yourself too thin. It's so easy, and it's going to make everything else harder. Research which channels and tools are right for your business. And before you start throwing content at the wall, that's money lost, it's time lost. Remember that digital Main Street is a two-way street, right? Put yourself out there and connect with other businesses with like values and branding and client bases. Create those networks with each other. Lastly, there's no trick to social media. That's the hardest thing. Everybody's got tips and tricks. There is no trick. Cultivating a base on these platforms means leaning into what works, not trying to trick the algorithms. So find unique ways to engage with your community online, and start these chats and truly listen and adapt to feedback by using those cool digital toolkits that you put together in the second step there. So all these things together, start slow, build your voice, find your place to set up shop, connect with your community, and start talking to people. All these things in line will get you where you need to go. And like I said, it does seem like a long game, but it works better if everybody in the community does it together. So I think that's my time. We'll put up some Q&As to see if you guys have any clarifying questions or want to know more about some of the stuff we've said.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ali. And it's really, really, I love it. I love the concept. I think that it's important. And I think as Putnam County, as a community, and as the Chamber of Commerce, one of the things that we do love to see is whenever we see some collaborations and some between some of our chamber members on social media, we'll see, for example, the other day, Drip Coffee, they've got a collaboration with Call's Meat Market, and they're sharing back and forth over like, hey, tonight's dinner's made with this from Call's Meat Market, and it kind of just shows those connections and supporting each other and how important it is, to be to support your neighbors and your friends, and just a little bit of positive chatter that's not just like, hey, look at my product. It's, hey, look at this product actually being used in with one of your other local businesses, which is really cool. So does anybody have any questions? If so, you can put those in the chat box there. Also, hashtag positive Putnam. That's a hashtag we've got going around in a little campaign we launched earlier this year that just encourages folks, if you're out and about at any type of chamber member business, go ahead and share a little bit of love on their social media page or on yours about them, just to keep things positive here in Putnam County. So yeah, that's a good point, Megan. We love that. Also, Chris put in the chat if you want to join that, join their group. The link is there, so I encourage all of you to do so. I joined it yesterday, and I'm really looking forward to being a part of it. So if you want to join their Facebook group, it is up. The link is up there. Any other questions? You guys are a quiet crowd today. Well, if I'm not seeing anything pop up, so just a reminder that we did record this, and also Ali placed the presentation in the link to the presentation in there. So if you want to go back and review any of it, you can grab that link there, and then you can also just email me and I can send you a link to the presentation. If you loved it and you thought it would be helpful for any of your team or anybody that you work with, have them shoot us an email at chamber@putnamcounty.org. We'll get out the link to them so that they can learn more about this. And if you have any questions after the fact, you think about something a little bit later, feel free to email those to me as well, and we will hopefully be able to get you an answer. So again, we want to thank our friends at Infinity Marketing Solutions, Ali and Chris, for being a part of today's mini webinar series. We're really excited about this series, and we're really thankful to our sponsors, Toyota, for making it possible. If you have anything that you need from the chamber, feel free to call us. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, 304-757-6510, or email or Facebook. However, any type of connection we will respond to. So just reach out to us. We're always here to help. If you have any ideas of things you'd like to see in this mini webinar series, or any presentations or any questions that you would like as a business owner to be answered, and you think that we can do that through one of these webinars, and you think it would be helpful to your fellow chamber members, feel free to send those suggestions to us as well. We can continue it even longer than February. We can continue it as long as you guys want the information. So if you think of anything that you would like us to help you with, please give us a call or shoot us a message. So again, thank you guys for participating and being here on this webinar today. Chris and Allie, thank you so much for your presentation and for sharing your time and talents with your fellow chamber members. We truly appreciate it very much. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful weekend. So,
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We'll see everyone soon. Virtually, of course. All right, bye guys.